Rahl Jewelers is the proud sponsor of Raging Mouth, the Mike North story, coming soon. Welcome, everyone, to Rahl Jewelers presents Mike North's press conference. I've been thinking about maybe calling it Mike North's presser, a little shorter, a little tidier. Let me know what you guys think in the chat comments. Before I bring Mike in, who is getting ready for the press conference, I want to remind you all that there are 2 episodes of Raging Mouth available on YouTube and also on all of the places where you get your audio podcasts. If you want to watch the episode on YouTube, all you have to do is go to the Barroom Network and look for their playlists, and you will see all of those episodes there, along with a number of extras. Mike recalling some really fabulous stories from yesteryear, and episode 3, which will be a huge episode with Mike's recollections of everything that happened at the score. That's going to be a 2-parter. I'm working on that now. Mike and I are both working on that now, and that should be ready soon. So without further ado, let's bring in the man of the hour. His name is Mike North. Mike North, how are you, my friend?
Well, I got a receding hairline. It's no secret anymore. I mean, let's be honest about it. Yeah. Pretty soon the hat will come out and the people go, "What's the matter?" "Oh, the light's in my eyes," or something like that.
Exactly.
I'm starting to take a look now. Maybe I didn't dry the hair properly, but there's no doubt there's some thinning going on. In the meantime, Aldo, I want to compliment you on shaving. It looks like you did wonderful, and it looks pretty clean. I mean, cleaner than the Board of Health. Tell us about it.
Yeah, well, it took me about 90 minutes.
Yeah.
They say that when you have a beard, insects and all sorts of stuff go in there. I have to agree. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff in there. Oh,
what made you shave it? What made
here's a piece of popcorn that I had last night.
That's right.
I like to shave it every couple of months or so, and then condition the skin and all that stuff. But I look so damn white, Mike. It's like you can project a movie on my face.
Well, it's not good if you live in a Puerto Rican neighborhood and you're Puerto Rican.
That's right. That's why I grew the beard.
Unfortunately, what happened to you? I mean, when you're whiter than me and you're living on North Avenue in Sacramento, it's an issue.
Exactly.
There's no doubt about it. I know the whole area.
I used to run home from school from the Latin Kings one day, and then the gay lords of the Jousters the next day.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, I knew the gangs all over Chicago, including my neighborhood, as good as I knew the major league teams. The Latin Kings, the Blackstone Rangers, the Peastone Rangers, the Black Panthers, the gay lords, stuff like that. The phone's ringing. Hold on for a minute.
It could be Mr. McCaskey.
No, it's not. But there's, you know what? I mean, I knew them all by name. I knew some of them in the neighborhood. I made that a point, and but basically that's the way it is. But I do know this: if you were in any neighborhood and Dick Butkus was with you, carte blanche. And if it wasn't carte blanche, the sign of the cross. Yeah. Okay, one of the greats. I'm on day 4 or 5, and I'm still tweeting out some of his highlights. You don't have a guy's poster hanging on your bedroom wall when you're a kid and bring it with you and when it's 2023 and it's hanging on your wall, unless it's greatness. I'm very appalled when I look back at some videos. For instance, the NFL Network had him as the 10th greatest player of all time. I don't even want to know who the other 9 were. Yeah. I don't even want to know who the other 9 were, because I guarantee you he should be in the top 5. He was Lawrence Taylor, okay, without doing coke. Okay? He was out of his mind, and he didn't need white powder like that guy did. And nobody can tell me Lawrence Taylor, no disrespect to him, didn't do coke before football games.
Oh, he's talked about it, yeah.
Are you kidding me? This guy didn't need it. And then we're going to have BB and I found God bless. And we sent it to Aldo. I don't know when it's going to be converted. We've already gone through the process. We have a 2-part show, okay, of Dick Butkus that we did from Basta Pasta with Tino Antonacci, who's one of our sponsors on Somebody Big Just Died, which was the hardest Somebody Big Just Died that I've ever had to do with Dick Butkus, because it was like losing a brother, period. That's how I felt about the guy. I mean, ended up being friends with him, ended up doing some projects with him. He was just one of those guys. And then we did that 2-part series. And in the second half, we had some libations, and he's feeling good. And it's all good. And, he didn't care. He came from the south side that night and entertained the north side. So we're going to have that from Basta Pasta. The Emmy-winning show that BB produced with video impressions. Aldo's going to convert it.
Yep.
We'll do a brief little deal beforehand interview about what my impressions were, but everybody knows my impressions. We have a guy that's the greatest defensive player in football history, grew up on the south side of Chicago, and he plays for the Bears. Never left the state of Illinois, ever, to play football anywhere, except it was a road game.
That's right. And I highly recommend that you watch Mike North eulogize Dick Butkus on Somebody Big Just Died, brought to you by Cumberland Chapels and Pennyville Station. That is also on our YouTube channel. Just find the playlist, Somebody Big Just Died, and you can watch that episode.
People used to get mad at me because I used to get calls on the station that said, Urlacher's the greatest in history. And I had seen both. And I was sitting next to Doug Buffone at the time, and we went to commercial. And Doug told me, he said, Urlacher's so talented, but he's a safety playing a linebacker position because he's that big and that fast. He can't shrug a block. He hasn't been able to do that yet. The third year, he got great at it, and he avoided them. Okay. But the first 2 years, you'd run the fullback at him, you do counter. It was learning. Okay. But I will never I never stood for the nonsense that he's the best of all time. Here's what I will say about Brian. He's the second best. Singletary, I've been doing all the investigation, and Bill George were third and fourth. Yeah. And Urlacher, could have played on the 85 Bears. But I'll say this. If Butkus played on the 85 Bears, they would have gone undefeated. That's all I'm going to say. Because Marino would have been standing there. Standing there. And I could just go by what I saw. And I saw him make mistakes. I saw him miss tackles. I saw him, but very rarely. And when you watch his highlights, I had somebody tell me the other day, well, he'd be outlawed today. He'd be in jail. I watch every tackle on those highlight tapes. They're all form tackles. He doesn't. There's one he knocks a Detroit Lion senseless in the air with the shoulder.
Yes.
There's another one. The guy catches the ball. He's getting ready to run. He hits him around the knees. The guy doesn't move.
Yeah.
These were form tackles. He never had hunted. Now, what he did do, though, was when the rules, he'll take your head and twist it, like he did to Leroy Kelly and other people. So I just want to say, Chicago Vocational, I had to get it in. And Dick Butkus, we will have more on Mr. Butkus, who's the greatest football player to cover. And, you're talking about, Sayers and Peyton, they had split allegiance. There's no split allegiance with Dick Butkus. None. Yeah. There's no other player. Everybody from Englewood, Rogers Park, Uptown, Humboldt Park, Roseland. I'm going over these because Brandon Johnson asked me to go over them.
The mayor of Chicago.
Yeah, he's from the hood. No, you're from Elgin. Anyway, I went by Caputo's the other day in Elgin. I thought I saw you coming out. Anyway, but all kidding aside, all the L stops. You say who's the greatest defensive player? He played for the Bears. Man, woman, and child that knows anything about football, says Dick Butkus. But how about this?
Yeah.
How exciting is Justin Field and the Bears?
Wow.
How? Listen to this. I told everybody. See, if you ever hear me say he's better than Mitch or better than this guy or better than Cutler, there'll be credibility to it. Because, you've heard everything from all these other guys, what he was going to do, what his pre-draft thing is. I'm fair. And I said to Eldo, and I said to Carmen DeFalco, Let's see what he does against Washington. And if he does something against Washington, we're building something. Maybe something's happening there. Now, don't take a step back. Maybe things are coming our way. Justin Jefferson is out for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
We're playing the Minnesota. Aldo's gone, God. This
guy's doing his homework.
Was he up at 3 this morning? Yes, I was up at 3 trying to figure out how we're going to win this next game.
I love it.
Because Kirk Cousins is a bitch, man. I don't care. I've heard people say this. If the New York Jets don't call him, they're out of their mind. Because they got a running game, they got a defense. That's how much he's thought of, but he's playing on a team that has no weapons. You take Adam Thielen away, you take Stephon Diggs away, who are you throwing to? Now Jefferson's out. So the Bears got a chance here to do something. Now, this really makes me mad about the Denver game, because if we win the Denver game, believe it or not, we have a chance to go 500. And now we're still crawling up that mountain. And we can't make any mistake. Okay? So I got to just say that, and I agree with Squeegee. And what a name is that is. I'll see you at the North Avenue exit if you're out there.
Have some change already.
Yeah. After I was between jobs, I was out there for WGN one day, and I said, I don't think this is going to work. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's hilarious.
But I want to say the O-line played outstanding.
Yeah.
He got rid of the ball timely. He moved around. Okay. I would have probably given him, I'd probably give him a B plus. He still makes a few mistakes, but not many. I thought that he should have hit Mooney on the first play. He threw it. And I also thought he almost crippled Herbert with just a horrible short pass that would have gained 30 yards.
Yeah, that was bad.
And now Herbert gets hurt. So I would have probably given him an A or a B plus. He gets a B. But that's great. And the rest of the team gets great grades. That's it. So now, do I apologize because I wanted Deion Sanders, or I want his kid who's very special? Do we apologize because we want a different coach? I think it's now let's see what happens. They got their one win and they're walking around. Cock-a-doodle-doo! Let's take it a game at a time, right, Al?
That's exactly what you got to do.
At least we're having a fun time today.
Yes, indeed. Already got a couple of questions. Toreen says that he was listening to Cap and Jay Hood this morning, and they basically said that there's nothing Justin Fields can do to keep his job as the starting quarterback of the Chicago Bears because this kid from USC, Caleb Williams, is too good to pass on. Now we have to assume that the Bears will have an opportunity to draft Caleb Williams. What do you think? Do you think there's anything Justin Fields can do in the remainder, 10, 11 games to tell the Chicago Bears, I'm your guy?
Geez, how quickly people turn.
That's right.
Wow. So we won it when we were losing 12 in a row. Everybody was with them. He finally wins a game, and now we're talking about somebody else. Here's what I'll say about Caleb Williams. Okay. First of all, if it was Sanders' kid or Caleb Williams, I'm taking Sanders' kid. Period. End of story. I've watched them all. I mean, he put up some points. He played USA. I mean, this guy here is special. But his father says he's coming back to Colorado next year because his father has some receipts that he's got to take care of because of this year. That's the kind of coach I want. But I'd like him with the Bears next year because then we get that draft pick. Maybe he talks his kid into going. This is the best time to go and what have you. Okay. I don't want Caleb Williams. And if you know the history of USC quarterbacks, it's no different than the history of Ohio State quarterbacks. I will name them all off for you if you'd like off the top of my head, because I was told by talk show hosts, media, and everybody else that all these guys were special. And this is where you have the advantage of being 31 years in the business and being, unfortunately, 7 decades and watching football since the 60s. Wow. You have the advantage over anybody. So I'll just start naming them off. Okay. Pat Hayden, how'd everything work out with him? Now, Eldo brought this up. I'm not here to brag and toot my own horn, but I'm going to. Because he didn't tell me he was going to talk about it. So I'm just going to go off the top of my head like I always do. I mean, you know what? What's the difference? Jagger can sing Satisfaction by memory. I know the USC quarterbacks by memory. Okay? Pat Hayden. He was decent. Never what he was supposed to be. Okay? Sean Salisbury. Very good quarterback at USC. Comparable. Yeah, just put up the names of the guys, but don't put them up to me, Aldo. I want to see if I get them all. Sean Salisbury, who I love. Good quarterback. Great quarterback at USC. Goes to the pros. Doesn't work out. Matt Barkley. My God, I heard he was coming here and he was going to conquer the world. Okay. Sanchez. Oh, my God, Sanchez. Oh, yeah. He's on TV now. Okay.
That's right.
With Rex Ryan, who's got his tattoo on his shoulder or something. That's how big he was supposed to be. I know I'm missing some people. Carson Palmer. He was the one that had a shot to make it big. He gets hurt, never was the same.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Leinart. I heard Matt Leinart was the next man, Steve Young. Heard them all. I want everybody to watch this because what we do at the bar room, whether it be media or people that follow us or media that doesn't want to admit they follow us, we educate here. So if you want a USC quarterback over Sanders, kid, I'm telling you right now, because Caleb Williams, and did I miss some people? Did I miss one?
Yeah, you missed one. Did you mention Sam
Oh,
Darnold?
Todd Marinovich.
Todd
How
Marinovich.
about him? He was going to be the next Kenny Stabler.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, there's 7, 8 guys. I named you. Now name me the one that made it.
That would be Carson Palmer.
That's it.
That
would be, and that's not even making it. He got hurt. So there's none. Now, I watched the Sanders kid last week, and I'm going, my God, he had his best players out, and he's riddling these teams. Okay, so that's my choice. If people want USC, I'll say the same thing. They're Ohio State West. They are Ohio State West. Okay, and you're right about that. Torian, you were right. Facts are facts. And Squeegee, can't say that name enough. We just got to improve our defensive line. So I don't know if that's all true. If Justin Fields gets on a roll and we win again, it's going to be hard to let him go if he puts up some wins. Because as Eldo knows, I've said, I don't care if he goes 1 for 50. If we win 3-0, he's my quarterback. Indeed. That's how I treated Mitch. That's how I treated everybody else.
Indeed. Hall Balls is a little concerned about the stories being told about Caleb Williams and the problems that he brings. He may not be the best team player around. Have you heard any of these stories?
No, I haven't, but I wouldn't touch him because of where he's playing. Because here's what I'm going to tell everybody. Your project, your homework project. Well, they're playing Notre Dame now. We're going to get a better read of Caleb Williams because here's what I know. USC's defense will stop them from going to the playoffs. They are absolutely horrendous. Last week, there was 205 yards on the ground. People going, Jesus, North, did he grow up in L.A.? No, this is what I do. 205 yards on the ground. There was 300-some yards passed on them. They barely win. So it's like who outscores who, okay? So that's not going to happen. I just think, it's going to be tough for them to make the playoffs. I don't see them making the playoffs. It's a tough conference in the Pac-12 with better defenses. And Notre Dame is -2.5. I'll give you that pick right now. I'll take Notre Dame. I'll take Notre Dame easily because if Notre Dame plays their game, they should run for over 200 yards. Nothing against Caleb Williams, but he's going to be playing against a pretty good defense too that held Ohio State to 17 points, who's one of the top 4 teams in the country.
Camel Toe Inspector says that he really misses the North End Jiggets show. Did you give him that name, Mike?
I knew a kid named Alex. He had camel toes. And we'd go to the beach. We'd go to the beach. We'd all be like this. We'd be like this, looking at him. What's wrong with you guys? Nothing. Just because you have feet like a panther doesn't bother us. Camel toes. I love that.
Yep. Lewis.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if they get a little bit of a run with the Bears, let's say they win this week. Let's say he throws for another 300 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say he's starting to wake up and roll him out.
Yep.
But they're not favored again. We'll see what happens. We will see what. And the defense stinks. And the Edmonds thing's been just a debacle. Roquan Smith, John Harbaugh should be. He fixed that football game to lose. I don't know what he was thinking. Didn't kick a field goal. But Roquan Smith is just like a beast right now. So we lost that whole deal.
Yeah, indeed. All right, I got a question here from Squeegee, of all people. He says, Minnesota played tough against Kansas City. Do you think the Bears have any advantages against them, or do you see a battle?
I see a battle because Justin Jefferson's out. I see a battle because of more confidence. But I see that Cousins, who throws 4 touchdowns a game, will not be stopped. So it's going to have to be a shootout type format because I don't have any trust in the Bear defense against really good teams. Although Ron Rivera, my God, what happened to you?
Yeah, what happened? Oh my!
And by the way, Zach Sullivan said Bryce Young was the media's can't miss candidate based on his ability to read college defenses. Yeah. Here's what you got to understand. For instance, Caleb Williams, and I explained my take on Justin Fields many times in the Ohio State situation, many times, Aldo. Last week I watched Caleb Williams threw 6 touchdowns. He had 6 seconds to pass. There wasn't a receiver within 10 yards of anybody. He had a running game. He had a line that weighed 335. Nobody touched him. You got to understand in your gut. And this is why I like quarterbacks that come from average programs and make their teams better. Patrick Mahomes, I've said it, was 7-5 his best year. But that was pretty good for Texas Tech back then. 13-19 all time. Okay. Eli Manning took Ole Miss to another level. You go to USC or Ohio State, every guy does that. Every guy. So, do you think as Bear fans, going to next year, if you had Caleb Williams, and I don't disrespect anybody who thinks that, but you have to know a trend when it's there, like Ohio State.
Sure.
You have to know in your gut, can he get rid of the ball within 2.5 seconds or 3? Because Justin Fields can't. And he was used to the same situation. He's getting better.
Yeah.
And here's what Justin Fields did the last 2 weeks? I'm not saying he's a front runner, and Aldo may disagree with me. He beat the equivalent of Northwestern and Minnesota in the Big Ten. That's who he beat. This week, okay, they'll be playing the equivalent maybe because Jefferson's out of a Nebraska or somebody. So they got a shot.
Oh, yeah. I agree with Squeegee, regarding the whole drafting of a quarterback. Squeegee's a star of the show today.
There's no doubt about it.
He says
Squeegee's become a name that will live in it. Squeegee's my new rap name. Ladies and gentlemen, little Squeegee. And little it is.
There used to be a comedian. I wish I could remember his name.
I know. Go ahead. Tell me what it was.
The joke was, hey, I want you to meet my main squeeze, Spongina.
Was that Flip Wilson?
No, he had a huge afro. But Squeegee says we need more help in the trenches before we draft any more quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. But you know what? And I don't know if they give up on Justin Fields after this year to embarrass everybody that was in his corner. It will just be a complete embarrassment. And of course, I'll drink my vindication with a shot of vermouth. Yeah.
Apparently,
Aldo hates when I get like that. He hates.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you bastard.
Apparently, Camel Toe is a fellow Puerto Riqueño. He likes this arroz con gandules. You ever had a arroz con gandules, Mike?
No, but I'll say this to Camel Toe. I stayed in Puerto Rico for 10 days at the Westin, at the top, on top, the best suite they had. What a trip. Puerto Rico, where I stayed, was beautiful. What a beautiful island.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, me and
indeed.
BB loved it there. Filled. The only thing I didn't like, filled with Yankee fans. You know.
That's a lot of New Yorkers.
Oh my God, the New York people out of their God bless their mind. They had the Sox hat on. They go, "Are you a rapper?" I go, "No, they're a baseball team."
You're a rapper. Zach.
I mean, really, is there any team in the world that has their logo represented more by the hip hop generation than the White Sox? No.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
Oakland. Maybe, but see, Oakland is owned by our guy. Who's the one guy that's a big Oakland fan? He was in the Kids from Compton. Ice Cube.
Ice Cube, yes. Ice T? No, Ice Cube. Whatever. Ice Cube. Yeah.
Yeah. Guess what? That's my team. Everybody goes, okay, man. Well, just wear Sox caps.
Zach says he agrees with you. Mike Sanders has made some impressive throws and plays well in the clutch. He's only seen Williams the last 2 weeks, but he sees problems with his accuracy.
I don't, and I have all due respect for people that want to say they want a USC quarterback. Not from what I've seen. You don't want him. You want Sanders' kid, or you keep Fields, and then you wait for Sanders' kid to come out.
How much should Bears fans be concerned with the injury to Khalil Herbert? It is described as a high ankle sprain. He might be out 2 to 4 weeks or so.
I told Carmen, I told Aldo, I would have given him an A. You can't throw a pass like that. You got a guy that was averaging, and Carmen DeFalco said this to me last week. And right now, I'm just saying to myself, he said, I said, you don't miss running backs until they're hurt, like Nick Chubb. He goes, well, Herbert. I go, I was ready to say something, and I said, I'll wait till next week, and I'll get Carmen when we come on. And then I'm watching Herbert. He's running like O.J. Simpson and Gale Sayers and these guys, and I see him averaging 7-8 yards. So I come on the air, and this is why you got, as a talk show, you got to admit, Carmen, you know what? I was going to barbecue you for that comment last week, but you want to know something? If that kid's healthy, he's as good as anybody in football. And that line knows how to block for him, and he knows how to hit the whole pass.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yes.
And now he's hurt. And now he's out. And that's a huge weapon for us to miss because of a bad throw. That's it. He was 5 yards away. Just throw the ball. Let it go.
Yeah.
And
by the way, Mike is talking about the odds couple with him and Carmen DeFalco. And then this is a third person on the podcast with you?
That's just our producer comes on, whether it be
Merkin, right?
Yeah, Eric Ostrowski. Look at the arms on this guy.
That,
I've been working overtime. I do the 5-pound dumbbells for 10 minutes and then have a Coke.
How often do you play Golden Tee? I know you got one down.
I play twice a week. I play twice a day. Mm-hmm. And I played Golden Tee this morning. And what I do is for people I want to see do well in life, I play 4 players, and I try to do the best I can. And if I don't have bogeys, it's like a perfect game. And yesterday, I had a DEL for where I live. I had V for victory. I had PRO for projects, the initials you punch. And I had AG for Aldo Gandia, and he shot a -18.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, he kicked ass, and we had a perfect game yesterday, but they're hard to get. You always have a bogey or two.
I usually shoot a +18. And that's...
Do you? You have Golden Tee too?
No, I'm talking about my real golf
game. Oh, my God, yeah. See, yeah, I played golf with a guy like that 2 weeks ago. We started at noon. I go, I got to be home by 5. Okay?
Delco watching
there's one. Let's talk about that. Chico Rivera's in trouble.
Yeah, he is.
I think he's in big trouble. You got a guy, and I love Ronnie.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, do you think Herbert goes down too easy after contact? The guy tried to come back. His ankle was like half broken. Mm-hmm. He came back, and he fell down because he couldn't do it. I don't think he go. Yeah, but you know who missed? See, this is where I come in. This is where the expertise of a man who's learned comes in. Do you know what runner in football runs the most yards before contact? Anybody?
No, I don't.
Him.
Oh, really? Khalil Herbert? Wow.
Khalil Herbert runs the through holes and stuff, but for more yards before contact. So yeah, maybe he goes down after that first contact. But if the first contact is 6-7 yards, that's fine with me. Mm-hmm. Walter Payton did that his whole career, you know, so that's fine with me. Kevin Jenkins is a huge upgrade because even Eldo and I talked about him years ago when they tried to pick on him because he got mad at the opposing player. Remember? They pushed. Well, those guys are all gone and he's still there. I loved his attitude. Nobody's pushing us around. I think he's got that attitude you need to become. I mean, nobody knows this. Jimbo Covert was like Butkus on the field. Off the field, the nicest guy in the world. But on the field, he wanted to just knock everybody out, period.
Yeah, indeed. Any thoughts on Eberflus wanting to hire a defensive analyst?
Well, first of all, let me just say this, and on behalf of everybody, whatever happened to that defensive coordinator, I don't believe one word. Okay. Oh, it was a family thing. They were in tears. They were talking about FBI. The people got sirens, helicopters. It was a family member. Yeah, we know that, sure. Don't ever think you can hoodwink us. And it's why haven't we had more news? Who died? Let us know who died. Nobody knows. It just has been swept under the rug. Bears had a meeting with the media. Listen, let it go. Now we're going to talk about bringing in a defensive analyst. I thought Eberflus was the guy because he was supposed to be the defensive analyst because he mishired his defensive coordinator, him and Pauls, period. Now, I've heard Lovie Smith. Just say you're hiring another defensive coordinator. Just say that.
I don't think they want to. I think Eberflus is being forced to hire this analyst guy. That's the feeling I get. He doesn't want anybody
coming.
Doesn't
that just reek of we're never going to win a Super Bowl within the next 20 years?
Yes.
My God, Eldo. You and I, the reason Eldo and I get along, even when we've had our little yeah, because we know that we passionately believe in what we're saying. This is just a cover-up for everything that's happened. Why did we have a defensive coordinator with Eberflus? Because he was the analyst.
Yes.
Just hire a replacement for the guy. Okay? Because apparently this death was so tragic, his career is over. I mean, how does somebody die in your family and you're gone? Don't you come back?
You would think, right?
My God. And they think Bear fans are stupid. Oh, no, just say something happened to somebody in his family and they'll lay off. Wait a minute. Every guy I've ever known, every coach I've ever known that had a death in his family that was legit came back to coach. So I don't want to buy that. I'm not buying any of that crap. I still don't trust the hierarchy of that team. I never will. Okay. But the defensive analyst thing is a joke. It makes them look like, a Pee Wee League team. It does. I just hire a coordinator and just say he's going to help out, but I'm going to call a place. I mean, Nagy's the offensive coordinator. He walks around with a card, okay, and he's going, yeah, I'll have 2 burgers. I'll have, he's ordering food. Everybody knows Reed is the offensive coordinator, head coach, but he doesn't have the weakness of saying, oh, Nagy's an offensive analyst. No, he's the offensive coordinator. Treat him with some respect. And that's what I would say for anybody coming in. You're going to name Lovie Smith or somebody as a defensive analyst when he could outcoach you on defense any day of the week.
Oh, yeah. I agree. I got a hunch it's going to be Eric Mangini, who Eberflus worked for. And Mangini was the head coach of the Cleveland Browns for a couple of seasons, and Eberflus was the defensive coordinator. Mangini is now a TV analyst, so he's got the time because they basically are saying you can work from home remotely. Just look at the tape and tell us what you think.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You don't even have to be here, and they announced that. And you think we think we're making strides. Until you hear this.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable to me. But if we beat Minnesota, we will have another happy show. And I want to say this to everybody. I love Aldo. I love all of you. I appreciate all our support that we get. And I want to thank Rahl Jewelers because without Rahl, I mean, they've been patient with us because we've been working hard on it. We want to make sure everything's right on this raging mouth thing. And because the other two were more generic, they were more back from memories, you have other personalities involved with this, so you want to make sure everything's right. Plus, I got to make the necessary cuts in case anything badly is said about me. And
that's right.
Well, we're looking forward to it. We're still working. I mean, I remember, you know, there's just so much stuff that we're busy with right now, but the bar room is healthy, and make sure you listen to Coach Gabriel. Make sure you listen to Buffon. Make sure you listen to everybody on there, Aldo, and oh wait, my guy, your guy, my guy,
Vinny?
one of my favorite guys, Aguirre. Wait,
Danny Aguirre.
Danny Aguirre.
Yeah, tonight.
I love Danny.
Yes,
so, and I haven't seen my guy Vinny. He's underground waiting for the next White Sox manager to be hired. Who knows?
He's got his hockey show tomorrow at 2
I know.
p.m.
I can't wait to watch it.
He's going to talk about, because tonight is the NHL opening night, right? So they start NHL season of game 1 starts tonight.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Me neither.
You know, I got to be honest with you, and I want to say this too. I've been watching. I'm going to just be honest with you.
I used to love hockey, and then all of a sudden
I was at openers. I don't even know where it's at. Where's it at? Who are we playing?
I don't know who we're playing, but I know that the Blackhawks have an exciting young
player.
Oh,
they got Bedard. Come on. They got Bedard.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
And Zach says that the Bears should be able to win the next 3 games. If they drop one of those 3, tear it down. Do you agree with that?
That's the kind of guy, if you go 2-1, get rid of it. Sort of like if you have a house and you have a bad boiler and it breaks, you don't fix the boiler, just knock the whole house down.
Knock it off.
Even though the rest of the house is fine. Just knock the goddamn thing down. All right, guys.
And I just want to say real quickly, we're going to announce
Rahl Jewelers, baby.
Rahl Jewelers over in Hoffman Estates, but also we're going to announce these 2 shows that Mike North did with Dick Butkus. We're going to announce when it's on here on YouTube. You've got to watch these. These are outstanding shows. Look at that. Look at that.
My grandmother, Leona Loricella, had 10 feet of it. She's an Italian woman, about 5'5", about 140. And she had the stuff hang down. I love her. I miss her. Yeah, but you're right. We're going to have the Butkus. You'll get that together. It shouldn't take too long, should it?
No, hopefully I can do the conversions very quickly. And then
now that we got the right bearings, right?
Right, exactly. And then you and I.
They were shot in the 90s.
Right. And
you're going to see 99 style. You're going to see the crowd with all the 90s stuff. You're going to see Butkus walk out there. Basically, the second half, he just wants to grab somebody and put them down.
I love it.
It was one of our best shows. So we thank everybody for joining us.
Indeed. Mike, you're the absolute best. We'll talk to you soon.
See you later.